were bound in sin. Do I have any witnesses that can remember there was a king in your life, and that king did not want you to be free? But I stopped by to let you know today that, amen, about 2010 years ago, there was a man that signed the Declaration of Independence. And it did not come cheap. It did not come easy. Some of us say that salvation is free. Yes, it's free. But you got to work to maintain what you have. And it didn't just come free, Brother Stanley, altogether. But somebody had to give up some blood. And I stopped by today just for a few moments because we're going to get out early today. But to let you know that there had to be a price paid. And they're going to be cooking the chicken, the hamburgers, the hot dogs, the steak today, because America became a free nation. But if you had not, y'all ain't going to help me today, if Jesus hadn't came above 10,000 years ago, America still would not be free, because Jesus had laid the foundation for our deliverance. I know that one day he laid the foundation for me. I was wrapped and in a world of sin. I had a king that always would talk down to me. When he told me to talk another joint, I would get another shotgun. I would get me a bottle of Wild Irish Rose. My king always would be over me, and he ruled with an iron fist, and I couldn't help myself. I would get up in the morning, Mother Clemens, and I would have me a joint up there on my chest. The king said, roll you a joint before you go to work. I would roll up a joint, and by the time I got to the restaurant, I would get me a cold beer before I went in. The king said, you got to lie, you gotta steal. And I did what the king told me to do. But one day, Jesus said, give me the paper. I'm going to seal the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to declare man free from sin. All he has to do, you may have a struggling problem, but if he would just come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, do I have any witnesses that one day King George was in your life, and King George had you a slave? You're trying to do right, but evil was always over you. Some of y'all looking like Alice in Wonderland, but I believe I got about 10 witnesses that say, preacher, I know what you're talking about, because one day I was tied up, I was messed up, I was tore up from the floor up, but I'm so glad today that Jesus came my way. He didn't just do it for the Jews, he didn't just do it for the Italians, he didn't just do it for the Caucasians, but he said, whosoever will, let them come. He could have left me out. He could have told me that your family's not good enough, but he left the door open, that all I have to do is be a whosoever. Do I have any whosoevers that you weren't there when they signed the Declaration of Independence? You weren't there when Jesus stepped up with his blood and he sealed your deliverance. But I'm so glad that I am a recipient of what he did. I wasn't there. I didn't see him do it. Well, how do you know he did it? Because every now and then, when the devil comes to me with some of the old crazy stuff, I can shake it off and put it under my feet. How do you know he did it, preacher? Because every now and then, when I would do bad, the power of God come all over me. Do I have any witnesses that can say I'm more than a conqueror through Christ that loved me? You may not like me now, but you ought to show me to be bound. You don't have to be a liar. You don't have to be a homosexual. You don't have to be a whoremonger. You don't have to be a wino. You don't have to be a drug addict. But you could be a mighty man of God. And I came on this day, a Declaration of Independence, to declare Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Do I have one more witness that say, I know it was Jesus that brought me a long way? It was Jesus that paid the price on Golgotha Hill. They said if we put him in the grave, we'll set him up, but you better not kill him, because if you kill him, he said, if my name be lifted up, preaching, I draw all men unto me. You better not kill him, Satan, because if the blood that flows from Emmanuel's vein, if it ever drop, he will deliver old James Tyler, which can't stop him high. He'll deliver old David Daniel, that just want to be smooth. He will deliver old Riddick, because the power, somebody holler, the power is in his hand. And I'm so glad today that I'm free, and he whom the Son make free is free indeed. There may have been some things that you're still working on, but don't stop working, because some would say you're not saved because you're not here yet. But one thing I know, I'm better than I used to be. You should have caught me a few decades ago, but Jesus is working on me. Touch your neighbor, say, neighbor, I'm a work in process. I'm still working. Don't throw me away. I may be something one day. He's still dealing with my attitude. He's still dealing with my personality. I'm somebody. Is there anybody here that say I'm somebody? See the sign, the Declaration of Independence. Can I do one thing before I go? Every one of the brethren that signed on July the 4th, 1776, they had to die. John Adams had to die. John Hancock had to die. Thomas Jefferson had to die. But one thing about Jesus, he